What's the worst thing about having male body image issues? The silent suffering. Welcome back to The Mailman. My name's Punith, and if you're new here, The Mailman is a brand and community focused all around breaking the stigma when it comes to male body image issues and the mental health impact it can have on males of all ages, shapes, sizes and colours. So the silent suffering, I mean, I'm 38 years old and I've been silent about this issue really for the last 25 years. Obviously my earlier years I was a child, so I didn't really know the difference between myself and the next kid next to me, so I didn't really care. But 2 decades, 2.5 decades, that's a long time to be silently suffering and silently feeling negative about yourself and the way you look. For me personally, that's a combination of a couple of things. I was made to feel different right from the beginning as a child because of my skin colour. I grew up in a fairly white dominant area, which I couldn't do anything about. That's where we lived, that's where we moved to, but that's also the reason I got bullied so much. All the names, the physical abuse, the mental abuse, the bullying as a child was the first indicator that, hang on a minute, why am I not accepted? Why do I feel different? Why am I made to look different? Even though I was just another child in the same school as everyone else. And then fast forward a couple of years as I started to grow up and go through puberty, and just before secondary school, that's when the body image insecurity started around size and my shape, and I started to notice, hang on, I'm actually like double the size of some of these other kids. For the years prior to that, I didn't really care. But I think it's also when those other kids who would bully the other kids started to realise, hang on, we've got more words in our vocabulary. We can call people fat rather than just commenting on the difference of their skin colour. And that's where most of the body image insecurity started. I started to feel like I was different. I started to feel uncomfortable. But I didn't really do anything about it. I couldn't. I was a kid. What am I meant to do? I didn't know how to voice my feelings. I mean, I still don't know how to really voice my feelings, which is why I started this whole thing. But throughout secondary school, it just got worse because, again, I was still in a very white dominated area. I was one of 3 or 4 coloured kids in 7 out of 800 boys, so that wasn't easy. But then to top that off, I was also huge. At one point, at around 16 years old, I was wearing a 50-inch blazer, and that was a good fit. So you can just imagine how big I was. 50-inch blazer at 16 years old. For years, school years I'm talking about, I never spoke about this because I didn't know how to. I internalized it. I tried to deal with it myself. I tried to take it into my own hands, going through diets, changing my habits, going from one extreme to the other, avoiding eating, but I had no one to talk to. I had no role models to look up to, or even if I didn't talk to them, at least connecting with someone who's gone through the same type of issue. Back then, we didn't have any of that. We didn't have social media, we didn't have, YouTube, we didn't have easy access to people like we do today that can maybe give you a bit of reassurance and make you feel like, you know what, it's okay, it's fine to look the way you look. But ultimately, if you want to make a change and lose some weight or get into the gym, do it for you. That's my whole promotion, is to do it for you. Don't do it because you're being bullied into doing it. My realization that I need to do it for me was from playing rugby and having shin splints to the point that I couldn't walk properly because the weight of my body was having an impact on my shins. So I had to lose weight. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this for me because I love playing rugby. I want to carry on playing sport. I'm not going to let people bully me into losing weight and use that as my reason. I'm doing this as a driver for me to enjoy something I really love, and that is playing sport. So that was my reason for trying to lose weight, and it's kind of stuck with me today to some extent. But I didn't talk about it. That's one thing if I could look back, I wish I could talk to my younger self and advise him to just open up, whether it's to a parent or to a teacher or to a doctor. Because years and years of bottling this up, it clearly has taken a toll on me, because I'm not any different now. I don't open up and talk about stuff. I'm really private when it comes to internal feelings, and this is kind of why this channel is helping me, because whilst I'm not directly talking to someone face to face, I'm able to verbalize my insecurities and my worries and the frustration that I feel inside. I just wish I had that sooner. And the worst thing is, when I realized I've got a serious problem when it comes to my own body image, it was too late. I was too far gone mentally to be able to feel confident and make that change. I kept silent, and that is the worst thing you can do. Especially kids nowadays. If you've got kids who are in that age or stage of life where they're being a bit moody or they're not talking to you as much, there's probably loads of things bothering them. I remember being an absolute dick at that age and just shutting down. But I didn't talk to anyone, and yeah, whilst you might feel a bit uncomfortable trying to have a chat with a teenager about their feelings, and they might ultimately not want to talk to you, you've got to let them know that you're there, that you're open to having a chat with them. Because honestly, if it gets to the point where it's too late and they are suffering silently about the way they look, or they're feeling uncomfortable about something, it might not even be to do with male body image issues. It could be to do with something completely different. You hear horror stories where sadly it's been too late. That's the worst thing, because then you're going to live with regret, to be honest, that you wish you had those conversations with someone close to you much sooner. You spend some time, just put a little bit more effort into having those conversations with your young ones. It don't have to be your own kids, it could be people that you know have kids, and if they've made a comment about, oh, they're going through so much change, or yeah, they're completely different, they don't talk to me anymore, advise them. Tell them about this channel, tell them about some of the concerns to do with the life and the world that we live in, this toxic world that promotes so much garbage. We live in a world that promotes a fake way of living, a fake lifestyle, fake ways to look. There is no right or wrong way to look. We can look however you want. Everyone in this world is built different. Everyone is still valid, ultimately. There is no perfect way of looking, regardless of what social media is telling you. And that's the danger, because a lot of the kids nowadays, they are constantly comparing themselves to something that they've seen online, whether that's a real person or some avatar or AI nonsense. I'm lucky I didn't have that stuff back in my day, because I don't know if I'd still be here, frankly. Constantly seeing this is the perfect way to look, this is how you should look to, you know, make friends and be more popular and get girls. That's the sort of messaging and impression that all these social media influencers and fitness gurus are secretly trying to promote. It's not get into the gym for your own health and be fitter. It's you need to look like me, buy my course, because then you're going to be living the life of your dreams. So yeah, raise this awareness, bring it to the surface, talk to your kids. But also you realise it's not just kids. I suffered as a man for years, and I'm still suffering now. Have you noticed any changes in yourself or other males close to you? They could be your husband, your partner, a brother, an uncle, whoever. Is there a male in your life that you noticed a change? Have they started to act a bit differently? Or maybe you've known them for a while and you think, actually, I think they've always had a bit of a problem with the way they look. They've always had a bit of shyness or insecurity. They have never, like in my case, they've never taken their top off or been comfortable enough to just be free when they're on holidays. Or they're obsessed about the way they look. Or you know your family obviously better than I do, but if you notice and feel like there's some sort of connection there with what I'm saying and how they're behaving, just check in with them. And even if they turn around and say, what are you talking about? I'm totally fine. At least you've opened yourself up. At least they know, right, if they are suffering and they're just a bit too arrogant or shy to talk about it, at least they know you are there. They don't have to suffer in silence anymore. You're not a qualified psychologist or a counsellor, but at least they might feel more comfortable to say, you know what, I actually am a bit insecure about some stuff, or I have been worried about the way I look, or I'm losing my hair and, you know, it's making me feel really insecure, or I've been living with this kind of secret for so long I've not had anyone to talk to. Wouldn't that just make you feel like a little bit better, knowing that you've helped someone just open up a bit, or you've given them a bit of an outlet to not feel alone and silent? Because that's exactly how I've felt for years. And people will tell you, why didn't you just talk about it? Why didn't you just open up and, you know, voice your feelings and your opinion? Well, that's great to say, but when you don't know what's available to you, you're not going to do it. None of my friends, and I've got some great mates, and I've had great mates throughout school, throughout uni, not once has anyone ever said to me, are you alright? Like, I noticed you know, you're a bit shy when it comes to certain things, or like in, you know, after rugby matches, why do you disappear and, you know, get changed elsewhere? Or, yeah, why don't we just all get changed together in the gym? Why do you always hide? Not once has anyone said anything. And yeah, part of me is like, well, if they spotted it, then I know that they've realised and they can see that I'm insecure. But I might have felt just a little bit more comfortable to say, you know what, I do have a bit of an insecurity, I do have a problem. But then friends are friends, right? They're not going to judge you purposely or maliciously. They might take the piss or, you know, have a little bit of banter with you here and there, but your true friends shouldn't do that. And if they do, fuck them, get rid of them. You know what they're truly like. So that's it really for this video. Help someone to stop suffering in silence, and if you are suffering in silence, Well, there's plenty of professional help out there if you need to seriously talk to someone. But ultimately, there are people in your life right now, whether you realise it or not, that you can talk to. And it might take a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to say to someone, look, I have a real problem here and I need your help. But I'm honestly saying, I wish I took that step sooner. I'm too far gone, and I feel like as much as I'm trying to talk about my own insecurities and feel comfortable, it's so hard to turn it around now. So if you're only starting to feel insecure, or if you've been unhappy about something, just talk to someone. Family member, a school teacher, a doctor, wherever, whatever stage of life that you're in, there will be people that you can talk to. Don't suffer in silence, because that's the worst thing you can do. People need to know that it's okay to talk. It's okay to talk about your feelings and insecurities. Because not everyone in this world is a prick, of which there are many. There are many people out there that will actively try and put you down and bully you. So sometimes you just need to take it into your own hands and try and help yourself. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. The only way to push this out and get it in front of more people is by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and ultimately trying to use the advice that I'm giving. I'm only giving this from my own perspective, my own life experiences, because I wish I had this sooner. I wish I'd done so many things differently. So until next time, thank you very much if you have made it this far. I've been Punith, and I'll see you on the next one.